Hey guys, it's Castro72, and I'm here with my review for the Retron 3 that I got last week. I've been trying to put the system through its paces, and I've tried several different games, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I'll talk about the build first. The actual console is actually of a higher quality build than I thought it would be. I have two other clone consoles. One is the Generation Next by Messiah, that just plays like all old NES games and Famicom games, and I have the FC Twin, which is supposed to play NES and Super Nintendo, and that's by Yobo, and it's actually somewhere in the middle. It's better than the Yobo, the FC Twin, in terms of build, and it's just a little under the Generation Next system, if you guys are familiar with those two. But anyway, yeah, it's actually not too bad. It's somewhat heavy, and that might be due to, in part to like all the hardware that's included to try to run all three of these systems. The one thing I did want to say is the controllers that came with the Retron 3. I mean honestly, guys, I didn't even bother trying to use them. I heard online from many different reviewers that, you know, they suck. So I went straight for the originals, NES, SNES, and Genesis, plugged them all in. They work perfectly. So I want to give the build of the actual system a thumbs up. I did see a video by Pop-Tart Love 2010, and she said her power button stopped working. She had to pop it open and all that for it to make it work. And so I'm being very careful with this power button, not trying to press it too hard or anything, or rapidly press it. So so just word of warning about that. But so far it's been okay for me. Other than that, I tried it on several different games. So let's start with the NES part first. I used Super Mario Bros. 3, which was compatible. Rad Racer, which was compatible. I chose a Tengen game, Roadrunner, and that worked perfectly. And one of those crazy Bible games, this Joshua game, and that worked perfectly. And Game Genie, it worked perfect. So all that was compatible. And I tried a game that everybody online said wouldn't work, which was Dracula's Curse, because it has that special chip in there. And actually it worked, so I'm going to demonstrate that. Oh, one other thing. S-Video does not work on the NES side of things. So what you have to do is you have to unplug the S-Video for NES to work, which is kind of a drag. Oh, and before I get to the Genesis part, let me tell you, S-Video on Genesis games is incredible. I probably wouldn't be able to show it to you on video anyway. You'd have to experience it for yourself. But it's better than anything you could have gotten out of a standard Genesis. So if anything, get the system for that. The Genesis is perfect for S-Video. But let me show you Dracula's Curse. You see, it works perfectly. I was surprised because of that special chip. Let me see if I can just... I can't really play the game, but... oh gosh. Come on. So, you know, it's not crashing, and I'm making it move. I can't play the game, I'll just die, but... Anyway, you guys get the idea. So... that game works on it. I have to say, like, compatibility, pretty much everything was good. Sound, you know, with some games it wasn't spot on like the originals. Colors, you know, not some games didn't have spot. I think Rad Racer looked a little different and sounded a little different, but you know, other than that, they're very playable. I honestly didn't really care too much. Okay, let's talk about the Genesis side of things. Okay, I put Strider in there. And these are the games I tried for Genesis. It's Buster Douglas Boxing, it worked. Rasta and Saga 2, that worked. And Vector Man 2, that worked. And Strider worked, which I'll show you in a minute. There were two Genesis games that did not work. And one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone Heist. But honestly, it might be because of my game cartridge. I know, like in my regular Genesis, I have to kind of move it around a little to make it work right. And Virtual Racing, which has a special chip in it, it did not work. But I'll show you the Genesis side of things. Again, I can't. The S video looks really good. This is just regular composite, but the Strider should work perfectly. You'll see it's a little quieter, I think, than on a regular Genesis. Maybe that might be something due in part to the system. Might be due in part to the system. But it, you know, it works. It's fine. I'm gonna totally die. But anyway, so that's fine. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the Game Genie also works on the Sega part of it. Last but not least, the SNES part of it, which I probably tested the most. At first it didn't work at all. I put in a couple cartridges. I think I put in what did I put in? I can't remember. I tried Sunset Riders. That's right. It was the first game. It didn't work, and I was like so disappointed. I thought, oh my gosh, it must be a dead port. But then what I did was I was trying a game. What was it? Oh, it was Home Alone. And I cleaned it out really well, and I kind of left it slightly wet with the alcohol on the connectors. And when I put it in, it made this bzzz sound, and like it kicked in or something. And then all of my SNES games started working, so that was kind of crazy. If anything, I know Classic Game Hunter told me that he had a clone system that arrived dead on arrival. So I don't know if that port was dead until I shocked it into life or whatever. But anyway, these are the games that I got to work on it. Home Alone, obviously. Sunset Riders. Mortal Kombat 1. Star Fox, which has the FX chip in it. It worked. Aladdin. Vortex. I actually tried a Famicom game. This is Poppin' Twin B. And and by the way, these things fit right in there. It doesn't need a converter. It just goes. They go right in there and it plays. Super Mario World, Terminator 2, and this is Final Fight. Game Genie worked as well, and Super Game Boy worked as well. And Tetris Attack, that did not work for some reason. I don't know why. It was a clean cart. And Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars did not work as well. But Street Fighter Alpha works with the special chip, and I'll show you that right now. And now it gets loud. I don't know why. The sound channels are really loud for this one. But I don't know. I didn't even change the volume, but something makes it really loud. Anyway, just to let you guys know that works. So overall, I want to say I like the Retron 3. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, like probably like an 8 out of 10. I'll tell you what, I'm a purist. I think playing on an actual game console is best. But you know what? It's not bad for what you get, especially if you can't find original hardware. So just want to say, guys, yeah, Retron 3, I'll give it a thumbs up, probably 8 out of 10. You know, some compatibility issues. You know, those SNES games didn't work, and Virtual Racing for Sega Genesis didn't work. So, but you know what? I'll give it for $54. It's not bad, guys. Peace out. Happy gaming.